Hello students. Today we will do the second part of miscellaneous exercise. In the previous video we did first 5 sums of miscellaneous. Now we will discuss few more sums of this part so that you people can complete it, and with that your chapter will be over, right? So let us start with sum number 6. In sum number 6 it is given that power set of A is equal to power set of B, and we have to prove A equals to B. I hope all of you remember P of A means power set of A. And what does it mean, power set of A? That means it is the collection of all the subsets of set A. And power set of B, okay, here also I have written A. And power set of B means it is the collection of all the subsets of B. If these two collections are equal, we have to prove that A is equal to B. That means these two sets are also equal. Okay, so since it is the proving sum, so in order to do that, the same way we will do as we did, I think in one more sum we have done, sum number 3, where we were supposed to prove B equals to C. So we started with B, we take any element belonging to A. So the same thing we will do here. I will take let X belongs to set A, right? If X is an element of set A, what does it mean? It means, what is this? When I write down the element within the curly braces, it has become a subset. Since X is any element of A, so this singleton set, it will be the subset of A. It will be the subset of A. Now, what is the power set of A? Power set is the collection of all the subsets of A. That means if this is the subset of A, so this will belong to power set of A. If you want, I can mention here, because power set of A is the collection of all the subsets of A, and as X is a subset of A, so this will belong to power set of A. If I have written this thing to make you people understand, because if this is the subset of A, so it will belong to power set of A. So that means it is an element of power set of A. And now what is given to us, that power set of A is equal to power set of B. So from here we will write down that this subset, it will belong to power set of B also. Reason, because power set of A is equal to power set of B, and this thing is given to us, right? Now if this belongs to power set of B, what does it mean? It means this singleton set is a subset of B, right? This singleton set is a subset of B. If it belongs to power set of B, that means it is one of the subsets of set B. So this singleton set is a subset of B. If this is a subset of B, what does it mean? It means the element X belongs to set B, right? The first 3 steps, if you notice, X belongs to A, so this will become subset of A, so it will belong to power set of A. And once I wrote here, because power set of A is equal to power set of B, then these 3 steps have gone in the reverse order. If this belongs to power set of B, that means this is a subset of B. It means X belongs to B. If I mark it as 1 and this I mark it as 2, so from 1 and 2, what we will conclude? We started that X belongs to A, and we have achieved that X belongs to B. So from 1 and 2, I will say that A is a subset of B, and this we will mark it as 3. Similarly, what we will do now, we will prove that B is a subset of A. In the beginning I said A is a subset of B, and if I prove B is also a subset of A, that means A will become equals to B. Now we will take let Y belongs to B. If Y belongs to B, the same thing, this singleton set, it will become the subset of B. If it is a subset of B, that means it is an element of power set of B. That means it belongs to power set of B. And if it belongs to power set of B, it belongs to power set of A also, because power set of B is equal to power set of A. This thing is given to us, and which further implies that this singleton set will be subset of A, right? Let us finish here itself. If it is a subset of A, what does it mean? It means Y belongs to A, right? Same steps. There we started with A. In the second part we started with B. Otherwise similar steps we have taken, only the element is changed, and we started that Y belongs to B. So here if I mark it as equation 4 and this I mark it as equation 5, so we can say that from 4 and 5 we started that Y belongs to B and we got that Y belongs to A. So from 4 and 5 we are getting B is a subset of A. Let it be equation number 6. In equation number 3 we proved A is a subset of B. In 6 we proved B subset of A. So we will write down from 3 and 6 A is equal to B. This is how we will do the sum. I hope the steps are clear. We have just used the relationship between, first of all we took the element belongs to A. That means this it will become the subset when I write down the element within curly braces. If it is the subset of A, it will belong to the power set of A. And power set of A is equal to power set of B. So that we have taken, and we proved that A is a subset of B. Similarly, we proved B is a subset of A, and if I combine these two equations, we are showing that A is equal to B. So this is sum number 6. It is very similar to sum number 3 that we did. Okay. Sum number 7 is it true that for the sets A and B, power set A union power set B is equal to power set of A union B? You have to justify your answer. So wherever the word justify comes, it means you have to give the example. So you think whether it is true or false. If it is true, justify. If it is false, then also justify. That means you are supposed to take the example of sets to show your answer, right? The next we will do sum number 8, and sum number 8 is we have to use for any two sets A and B. The first is that A is equal to A intersection B union A minus B. This is what we are supposed to prove. A is equal to A intersection B union A minus B. Now left hand side is only one set, but the right hand side we have union, intersection, difference. So we will start with RHS. What is RHS given here? A intersection B union A minus B. Now let me show you what is this A minus B with the help of Venn diagram, and when we are doing that we will convert it in the terms of intersection, because here we have intersection, here we have difference. So this difference we will convert into intersection. How we are getting that? Let me show you. If these are the two sets, this is set A and this is your set B. Now this is the A minus B set, right? This is our A minus B. So the shaded region, let me write down, this is A minus B shaded part, and the complete is A set, no doubt. Now this A minus B set, what does it mean? If I take the intersection of A with B complement, what is B complement? B complement means except the set B. Let me draw one more this Venn diagram to make you understand what I am going to do here. This is B set, this is A set, right? And what will be B complement? B complement means except the set B everything. So it will be this thing. Except set B, everything of the universal set will come under B complement. Even this common region also, it is containing B as well as A. So this is the part of B also. So that will not come. So this shaded region is actually B complement, right? So this is the shaded region B complement. Now if I take this B complement and the complement B with the intersection of A. What is A? This is A now. This complete is A. If I take the intersection of A set with B complement, what we will get? We will get only this region which is common to both. So A set intersection B complement, I am getting once again this region only. And what is this region? So here this region is A intersection B complement. So A minus B and A intersection B complement, they are same. So this thing is just to explain you people how we are getting it. Otherwise you people can use it as the standard result also. What is the standard result? That A minus B can be written as A intersection B complement. So same result we will use here, and it will be written as A intersection B union as such, and this A minus B will be written as A intersection B complement, right? Now A intersection B union A intersection B complement, right? It means we have one result, distributive law. What is the distributive law? Like that A intersection B union C is equals to A intersection B union A intersection C. This is the law, distribution law, and this is the distribution of intersection on union. What is the law? This is the distribution law of intersection on union. When I have three sets ABC, A intersection in the bracket B union C we have, so it will be A intersection B, then this relation, that is union A intersection C. So this result, A intersection B union A intersection C, if I compare RHS with this A intersection B union, instead of C what do we have? B complement. So I can write this thing as this. So it can be written as A intersection B union B complement, right? And now what is B union B complement? If you remember, we have done the properties of union as well as the complement. So B union B complement or A union A complement is equal to universal set. So it will be A intersection universal set. Now A intersection universal set. When I take the intersection, what will be the common region? The common region will be set A only. And this is our LHS which we were supposed to prove. So two results we have used here. First is A minus B can be written as A intersection B complement, that I have proved with the help of Venn diagrams, right? And then we are using the distributive law of intersection on union, that A intersection B union A intersection C will be written as A intersection B union C. So this result, when we applied, B union B complement will be universal set, and any set intersection universal set, we are getting that set, that is A. Similarly, you people can do the second part. It is A union B minus A. So A union B minus A, we have to prove this is equals to A union B. Now B minus A can be written as, I hope you people can do now. If A minus B is written as A intersection B complement, so B minus A will be written as B intersection A complement, right? So A union B intersection A. Now here which rule we will apply? The distribution of union on intersection. So it will be written as A union B intersection A union A complement. So this is the distribution of union upon intersection. A union B intersection C is equals to A union B intersection A union C. So this is the distribution of union upon intersection. In the previous part we used distribution of intersection upon union, okay? So A union B will remain A union B only. Intersection A union A complement will give you universal set. So universal set intersection A union B, it will give you A union B only. That is your RHS to be proved. So here both the parts of sum number 8 we have done. You people can do sum number 9 the same way. You have to use the properties of sets there also, and you will be able to do. Sum number 10, show that A intersection B equals to A intersection C need not imply. So here also you will give the example only, right, to prove that if I have A intersection B equals to A intersection C, it does not mean that B will be equals to C. You have to take the sets in such a way that you are getting that answer, right? Sum number 11 we will do. It is important sum and the last proving sum of this exercise. What is given here? If this thing is given to us, if A intersection X is equal to B intersection X is given equal to phi, and A union X is given equal to B union X for some set X, right? This X is some set. For some set X, we have to show that what we are need to prove, we have to prove that A is equal to B. If you notice in the book, they have given the hint also that we are supposed to use here distributive law only. So what is given, we will start with that only, right? A intersection X is equal to B intersection X is given phi. So this thing we will use in between. What we have to prove, A union X is equal to B union X, right? Sorry, this is also given. I am sorry. These two things are given. We have to prove A is equal to B. So this part we will start with, and this equation we will use in between. So we will start as A union X is equal to given B union X. So we will take on both sides intersection with A, right? I am using the sign it implies. When I use the sign it implies, that means one step has been done, one new thing has been done to the previous equation. And what is that new thing? We are taking the intersection with A on both the sides. A intersection B union X. So on both the sides we have taken intersection with A. Now we know the distributive property. Let me show you here. A intersection B union C. This is A intersection B union A intersection C. So here also we have A intersection A union X. So here same set is there and there is the second set X. So when I apply the distributive law here, we will get A intersection A union A intersection X. Similarly here A intersection B union A intersection X. So we have applied the distributive law by distributive property. By distributive law, right? Now what is A intersection A? It will be A only, right? Union. What is A intersection X? A intersection X and B intersection X both are given equal to phi. So this will be written as phi. A intersection B will remain as such, and union A intersection X is also phi. So when I take the union of any set with phi, we are getting the same set A only. So here we have A intersection B. We have done, no further can be done. So this I will mark it as 1. So here we started that A union X equals to B union X, right? And we took the intersection with A. Same thing we will do. Again we will start with A union X equals to B union X. But now we will take the intersection on both sides with B. So we will write down again A union X is equals to B union X. And we are going to take the intersection with B on both sides. So this is A union X equals to B intersection B union X. So once again we apply the distributive law. So we will get here B intersection A union B intersection X is equal to B intersection B union B intersection X. So B intersection X means A intersection B only, because intersection is commutative. We can write it as union. What is B intersection X? B intersection X is phi. So here we will write down phi. B intersection B will remain B only. Union B intersection X is phi. So here what we are getting, A intersection B is equal to B. We will mark it as 2. In 1 we said A intersection B is equal to A. In 2 we are getting A intersection B is equal to B. So from 1 and 2, what we will imply that A is equal to B. This is what we were supposed to prove. So this is your sum number 11, right? We started with this union part. We took twice. First we took the intersection with A, then we took the intersection with B, applied distributive law, and when we simplify, we are getting here equation this, that A intersection B is equal to B, and here we are getting A intersection B equals to B. Here A intersection B equals to A, and here A intersection B equals to B. When we compare 1 and 2, we are getting A is equal to B. Right? Sum number 12, once again you have to take the example of 3 sets ABC such that when I take pairwise intersection, they are non-empty, but when I take the intersection of all the 3 sets, it is coming empty. You people can do that. Try it. Sum number 13 and 14 are the same sums as we did in exercise 1.6. We will do one more sum number 15, and with this your chapter will be over. You can do the remaining sums. And sum number 15 we will do with the help of Venn diagram, right? We can apply the formula also, but I will explain here with the help of Venn diagram so that you can use that also, because with one Venn diagram the calculations becomes very easy and it becomes easy even to understand, right? Let us write down what is given here. In a survey of 60 people, it was found that 25 people read newspaper H. How many people read newspaper H? 25. And 26 people read newspaper T. 26. And 26 people read newspaper I, written. And 9 people read both H and I. Both H and I means H intersection I number is 9. And 11 people read both H and T. So H intersection T, how many number is there? 11. And 8 read both T and I. So T intersection I, it is given 8, right? And 3 read all the 3 newspapers. So H intersection T intersection I. That means number of people who are reading H also, T also, I also. How many is there? There are 3 people, right? We have to find, first of all, number of people who read at least one of the newspapers. At least one of the newspaper, right? And the second part that we have to find, number of people who read exactly one newspaper. Exactly one newspaper. Exactly one newspaper means number of people who read H only, number of people who read T only, and number of people who read I only. And at least one of them means, at least means they can read one newspaper also, they can read 2 newspaper also, and they can read all the 3 newspapers also, right? So let us draw the Venn diagram here, and we will take the values according to the Venn diagram. So let us draw the Venn diagram. This will be our universal set. So here we have 3 sets. This is H, this is I, and one more we will take, this is T, right? What is this? This is H or T, and let it be I, doesn't matter. Now how many parts we are getting? This is one part, second part, this is the second part, this is the third part, intersection, this is the intersection of H and T, this is the intersection with H and I, this is the intersection with T and I, and this part, the middle part, is common to all the 3, H, T and I. So we will give the names to all these. So let it be A, let it be B, then C, here it will be D, then E, then F, and this, the innermost part, let it be G. We have given the names to all these partitions when we have drawn the 3 circles intersecting, right? Now we have number of people in H. How many are there in H? This complete circle, first circle is representing the H, or the closed curve is representing the H. And in H, what are the alphabets we have written? A, D, E and G. That means A plus D plus E plus G is equals to 25. So this is what we are going to do. A plus D plus E plus G. This is 25. Now in this is the second curve, and second curve is representing the people who read newspaper T. In the second curve, what are the alphabets written? B, D, and this is F and G. So our F is not clear. Let us write down B, D, F, G. And how many are there in this curve? 26. So we will write down here B plus D plus F plus G is 26. Similarly, the curve which is representing I, there are the alphabets C plus E plus F plus G. How many are there? That is also 26. Now intersection, H intersection I. This curve, when I take H curve and T curve, right? Okay, when I take H curve and T curve, this is the intersection part of H and T. What are there? What are the alphabets between H and T? It is D plus G. So D plus G, that is intersection of H and T. So intersection of H and T is given 11. So this is equal to 11. Now H and I, what is H? This is the H curve, this is the I curve. So this is the intersection part of H and I. So there are two alphabets E plus G, right? So E plus G, that is H intersection I. How many are there? 9 are there. Similarly T and I. So T and I intersection is G plus F. So here we will write down G plus F. How many are there? 8. And all the three, that means this is the middle part, this is common region to all the three curves G. So the value of G, what is given equals to, this is given 3. So I know the value of G. If I substitute it here, I will get the value of F, I will get the value of E, D and so on. So what we are going to do, we will substitute back substitution we will do to get all the values of A, B, C, D, E, F and G. G we got, it is 3. So let us do here the calculation, because we have the values in front of us here. So we are getting G is equals to 3. Let us box it. If I put G here 3, the value of F will be 8 minus 3. It will become 5. So the value of F is 5. If I put the value of G3 here, the value of E will be 9 minus 3. That means E is 6. Right? These three values we got. Now, if I put here the value of G3 here, so 11 minus 3 is 8. So the value of D will be 8. D is also calculated. Now we will substitute here. We know the value of E, F and G. What is E plus G? E plus G is 9. The value of F is 5. So 9 plus 5, we will subtract it from 26. Let me do this. So C is equals to 26 minus. The value of E is 6. The value of F is 5. The value of G is 3. Right? So how much it is coming? 6 plus 5, 11. 11 plus 3, 14. 26 minus 14 is 12. So the value of C will be 12. C is also calculated. I hope you are getting the calculations. We are just using the back substitution, and this thing we have written with the help of Venn diagram and the values which are given to us. Now these D, F, G values, if we substitute here, we will get the value of B. So B will be written as 26 minus the value of D is 8, the value of F is 5 and the value of G is 3, right? So how much we are getting? 26 minus 5 plus 3, 8. 16. So 26 minus 16, we are getting 10. So the value of B is 10, right? And the last, A is equals to 25 minus, D is 8, E is 6, G is 3, right? So that is 25 minus 8 plus 6 is 14, 14 plus 3 is 17. So the value of A will be 8. Okay, all the values we got. A is 8, B is 10, we got C 12, D 8, E, F, G. All the values we got. Now, the first part, we have to find at least one of the newspapers. At least one of the newspapers means, when I take the Venn diagram here, this is representing H, this is representing T, this is representing I. At least means it can read H also, it can read T, or it can read I, or it can read any two, or it can read any three, means all the three. So when I have to find the first number, at least one of the three newspapers, so what will happen? All the values we will add. So this will become equals to A plus B plus C plus D plus E plus F plus G. All the values we are going to add. Okay, I hope the Venn diagram is clear. At least one of them means union, if you remember. At least word means union. So three newspapers, three sets, that means the union of all the three sets. The value of A is 8, B is 10, C is 12, D is 8, E is 6, F is 5, G is 3, right? So we are getting here 22, 30, 38, 38 and 6, 44, 44 and 5, 49, 49 and 3, 52. So how many will be there? 52 people will be reading at least one of the newspaper. And the second part is number that exactly one newspaper. Exactly one newspaper. When exactly one newspaper means only H, or the people who are reading only T, and the people who are reading only I. So only H. What is only H? This is the region which is representing only H. That means A. Only T means the value of B. Only I means the value of C. So when they are reading exactly one newspaper, it will be A plus B plus C. What is the value of A? 8. B is 10. C is 12. So this is going to be 30. So 30 people will read exactly one newspaper, and 52 people will be reading at least one of the three newspapers, right? I hope the sum is clear, the calculations are clear, right? With this, similarly, people can do sum number 16 and your chapter is over. Thank you so much, class.